Do you like my smile? It's quite a good one, that one. Oh.
Lovely.
Witches are we, witches are we, witches are we on a Wednesday. Hello.
Hello.
I thought that was quite a good smile, that one. Do you like it?
It's a bit creepy.
Bit. I do that to my grandchildren. They're like, oh, no, stop it. I don't know. I think it's rather fetching. Yes. Anyway, how are you?
Me? I'm all right.
Yeah,
I'm here this time.
Trauma of seeing that smile.
Yeah, I'm still recovering. It cannot be unseen.
Oh dear, so rude. So we have some people in that we need to say hello to. And I get those waves ready. We have Jen all the way from across the pond. Hello. We have Redwing. Hello. And we've got Tony. Hello. We've got Hannah. Hello. And how are you? You mean, oh my God, Barry, what sauce? Cheek. That's not nice, is it? So the burning question, Heather.
Yes.
Did you get to see Bloody Tina?
Bloody Tina. You know what? We finally did. Oh my goodness me. I tell you, 2 years in the waiting, just ridiculous. Yes.
That's a long time to wait to see a show, isn't it? Actually, I've got a show that I'm supposed to be seeing in August, and that's a similar sort of thing. It was bought for me in the tickets for this show, which was Darren Brown. I love Darren Brown. And that was bought for me in at Christmas 2019. That was bought for me. So, yeah, still waiting. Turns out it's going to be on an occasion where I'm not blooming well free, which is really irritating because it happens to be in middle of August this year. So I've got to change it anyway. So that's really annoying. So, yeah, but never mind. So, yes. So, yeah, it's annoying when you have to wait for so long for something and they shunt it back and shunt it up because of the old C word. So, yeah, it's irritating, isn't it? But was it worth the wait?
Yes, I very much enjoyed it. I was just relieved, to be frank. I thought, thank goodness. I didn't quite believe it until the curtain went up. I thought,
yeah.
One cough out of that
to be,
cast.
Yeah, expected to be ushered out with a small woman and with an ice cream and a torch. I know.
It was all lovely, and my sister very much enjoyed it, which was the point, because it's not something I would necessarily have chosen to go and see as a theatre show. If I wanted to see something on stage, I would have gone to see the Rocky Horror Show or something like that. It's like, yes, please. Yes. My sister, however, probably wouldn't. So,
well, different strokes for different folks, isn't it? Different strokes for different folks. It's all different for everybody.
Absolutely.
That's how it goes. But anyway, finally, but as Hans says, at bloody last.
Yes, exactly. I'm just relieved. I don't have to think about bloody Tina anymore.
Yeah, exactly. It's done and it's dusted, and you can wash your hands on it. Oh dear. So how's your week been? What have you been up to?
Oh man. It's all been a bit of a whirlwind. As you know, I've friends with various stuff going on and health considerations, and certain assistance is needed, and I've been doing what I can where I can. My son's on half term, so he's not even surfacing until fairly late in the day.
Don't blame you. You haven't got to, then why should you? I think that's the thing.
Exactly. I've been to a couple of boot fairs, which has been lovely. Very nice to get back out into the booties again. Yes. I started Pilates.
Oh, that's a good connection for mind, body, spirit, isn't it?
Very much so. Well, those of you who watch this will probably know that yoga has been very much my thing for many, many a year. And I've always gone to a weekly class, even since moving down here to Tunbridge about 10 years ago. I've enjoyed a lovely yoga class, but then the class I was going to is finished and I can't just do another one because of timings. So I decided, well, okay, maybe it's time for a change up and learn something new, and there's an opportunity there. Yeah. So I found this lovely lady. It was some marvellous studios right in the middle of Tunbridge, and I had an assessment with her a little while back, and I had my first class with her on Tuesday morning, yesterday. So I'm still slightly achy. But I think I did all right. I held my own, so to speak. I'm
Excellent.
quite lucky because
It's
of all
quite
the yoga,
gentle, isn't it?
that
But actually, it's a lot more strenuous
Mm.
and demanding than it kind of gives over to being, isn't it?
yoga can be quite hard work as well, but Pilates is a slightly different way of working,
Yeah,
and I really like it. It's not totally unfamiliar, but it's more challenging because it's new and it's a sort of a shorter class and a new teacher, and it's just been really nice to switch it up. So I think that's
yeah,
been quite an opportunity. I will always love yoga, but they do things slightly differently in Pilates, although the things are related.
yeah.
And it is all the body-mind connection stuff, which obviously magically is a thing. But I need to get out of the house and go and do a class somewhere in order to step out of my work head moment.
Yeah,
I need to physically go somewhere and kind of get on a mat and be told what to do.
yeah.
Often I
Do
like
this,
being told
do
what
that,
to do.
bend this, and put that there. Yeah, perfect.
Exactly. And this over here, and can you do this? I'm like, oh, actually, I can. I didn't think I could. Ooh.
Yeah, marvelous. Can you reach that?
A lot of emphasis on balance, which I think is never a bad thing.
No, especially as you get older too. The body's willing,
Yes.
but the mind's willing, but the body doesn't necessarily follow suit, does it?
Well, someone once said to me is that young people fall over, older people have falls,
Yeah,
and this
and
is a
crack.
different. Yes, I'm still quite good at falling over, but I don't want to have falls.
No, exactly. Yeah, no, sensible, definitely.
Strength and balance and coordination and things that are useful from here on in, really, because we're not getting younger.
Well, neither of us are spring chickens anymore, are we? So yeah, no, sensible.
No, haven't mastered that one.
No, I remember years and years ago, my doctor said that I needed I wasn't very well, and my doctor said that I needed to go and do Pilates, and sort of did one class, and it practically killed me because it was far more strenuous than I was expecting it to be, and I got sent home. I was like, oh, that's not good, is it? Doing a Pilates class and being sent home.
You probably weren't quite ready for it. I think.
Come back, yeah,
you might not.
I'll wait a
They
bit.
can be demanding.
Yeah.
Jennifer said, was the class a floor class or on the machine? It was actually a floor class, but it's using, they use sort of certain props and things to kind of.
Did they use the big old bouncy balls and things?
They have little bouncy balls when I've got one at home, and then they also have this sort of like a barrel thing, which is kind of like a half semicircular tube, and we were doing a lot of work actually using that and balancing on it.
Yeah,
it's harder than it seems.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah, it's tricky. As I say, I got sent home. It was much too much for me, and I got sent home and told not to come back for a bit.
They probably were saying that they didn't
back.
think you were well enough. Yeah.
No, I wasn't well enough. No.
Yeah, you've got to be pretty well to do Pilates. But I'm hoping that my bloke Nige might try it at some point, because I think he would get a lot of benefit from it too. And there were actually a couple of fellows in the class that I did, so it's nice that it's
unusual, I would imagine.
Fairly, but that's nice.
It being a hugely attractive thing for fellas to do.
But it's because it's so good for things like joints and backs and all the things that fellas suffer with. When yoga, I think for a lot of fellas seems like that's a slight step too far. It's a bit like, oh, I'm not sitting there saying om.
Yeah.
Which isn't always the case, but they're a bit off put because it seems to be quite heavily swayed towards the feminine. Whereas I think Pilates is much less so.
Yeah, it's an interesting thought then. Yeah, it was true what you say about sort of getting yourself out and about. So I've had quite a tough week, and yesterday it was like, I need to go for a walk. I need to reconnect, and that's exactly what I did. Put my boots on and off I stomped into the countryside, and did. It was good, yeah. So we had a good old stomp around the countryside and sort of like trapped over my Billy Goats Bridge. I've got this wonderful little bridge, which is very much betwixt and between. So I went off to go and see if the Billy Goats were about. They weren't. I think they were going and annoying other neighbours and eating things they weren't supposed to be, as goats are wont to do. But yeah, so we didn't get to see them, but was tempted to play poo sticks and all that kind of stuff. So no, it was all jolly good. Just had a general sort of stamp around really, and sort of like saw the first of the bluebells as they're coming out.
Yeah. Just about coming now, aren't they?
Yeah, they're just sort of on their way, so they're all in bud. But funnily enough, you can smell them already. Really can.
Well, they're related to hyacinths, so they smell very much the same.
Yeah, exactly. And it was just lovely, actually. And it's a very, very... it wasn't my woods that I went to. It's a bit that's near my house. And it's lovely, and it's really completely undisturbed by... It's not public footpath. It's not anything. It's sort of on the edge of the farmer's field. The farmer being the chap that owns the land that I live on.
That's where you get wild garlic, isn't it? later on?
No, not that place. It was a
not
different
that one.
bit of wood. It was
Oh,
the bit of
okay.
wood that's behind my house where the Billy Goat's Bridge is.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And it's got that little waterfall that where the water falls over the tree roots.
Yes,
So that was really nice. Actually, one thing that was quite upsetting was that obviously we had that storm a couple of months ago, didn't we, in February? And that's the first time I've been up there actually since that storm, and some really huge trees have literally snapped in half, and it's quite saddening to see the devastation that goes with it, really. It's quite awe-inspiring to see it, but it's saddening at the same time.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it was nice, and it's completely undisturbed. Nobody goes there. It's not public land at all. It belongs to the farmer, and it's sort of flanked by this little meandering river, which is really nice. And as I say, you've got this big oak tree that's got exposed roots, and the water runs down over the roots and creates this beautiful little waterfall. And so that was quite funny. A couple of years ago, or whenever it was that I first discovered it, and said something to my daughter, who is prone to exaggeration, put it that way. And so I explained about this and took a photograph and a video of it, and she got terribly excited and said, "Oh, we could bring deck chairs and a picnic." And it's like, it's really not that large. No, we could bring deck chairs and a picnic and sit and watch it. It's like, it's really not that big at all. No. Anyway, so I dissuaded her from the deck chairs, and she brought a packet of crisps, and off we trundled to go and see this waterfall. And disappointment wasn't the word. It's like, but you're glad you didn't bring a deck chair now.
And a full picnic.
Yeah, and a full picnic. Eat your crisps and off we go. Yes. Ever optimistic she is. Ever optimistic. So yeah, but it was nice to see it, and it's one of those little waterfalls that's seasonal. So it's in the summertime it dries up because obviously there's a lack of water. But anything from around about November, December onwards, and it's in full flow. It's lovely, actually, really nice. So yeah, so that was really nice, but it did me real good to just go and stomp about for a couple of hours and clear my head. And it's amazing that connection when you get into nature and you've got the sun on your face and the wind in your hair, and you can really feel that connection with it all, can't you? And you hear and smell, literally all the senses come alive again, don't they? And you need that, and if you're as much into the whole nature thing as we are, it's so important to be able to connect with it. And I really struggle if I don't for any length of time, even a couple of days, I start to struggle. And
you have to get out, don't you?
Yeah, and it had been over a week since I'd done anything like that. It's like, no, I need to deal with this, and I need to deal with it now. So yeah, so that was good. So yeah, absolutely, it's that whole getting yourself out and getting out of your headspace. So, but I've done some interesting magic this week. So I've done some electrical magic unintentionally.
No fingers in sockets, I'm hoping.
No, far more embarrassing than that. So we had this power cut.
Mm-hmm.
All the power went off. I suddenly became aware that the kitchen light wasn't on, like you do. Okay, tried various sockets. Oh dear. Looked in the electrical cupboard. Everything was still on. Like, oh God. Went out to the electrical cupboard outside, where the main feed comes in, and it's ancient and doesn't have digital displays or anything like that. But everything had stopped going around and whirring. It's like, definitely got power cut. So I went on my phone to discern whether there'd been any kind of reports or anything, and there hadn't. So I reported that I had a power cut. So they were very good, and I made lots of different phone calls and sent a person around who came in and put a torch on his head. Looked in my electrical cupboard and said, "Oh, it's not working, is it?" So I said, "No." And he said, "Is it working now?" Click. Well, yes, does appear to be. And it's such an old thing. It must have been put in the 40s. It's got this really peculiar round trip switch. And if you don't know that it exists or what direction it's supposed to be in, well, you're stuffed. Anyway,
you know now.
I was, but I know now. It's really embarrassing. But I don't know how I managed to trip it in the first place. Probably putting something back in the cupboard. I don't know.
They came all the way down to you, out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he had to go back to London, which is like 30-something miles away. So yeah, it's really embarrassing. And then the woman from the electrical company then phoned to say, we believe that it's all back on, up and running for you. Is there anything else we can do? And I'm like, oh no, it's absolutely lovely. Thank you very much. I'm not admitting it to you. So
Yeah.
I don't know whether I'm going to get a bill for that. I don't know. Either way, it was highly embarrassing. But it is ancient. So, yes, I think it's probably about 80 years old, 70 or 80 years old, this particular fuse box. And it's in need of a bit of an update, to be fair. Landlord, if you're listening, please do something about it.
Well, exactly. Otherwise, you would never, if there is a bill, pass it on to him.
Exactly. Yeah. So, Bill, this is for you. Yeah. So it was highly embarrassing. So, yeah. So that was a little bit of unintentional electrical magic. But I did do some water magic today. And that was also something very, very necessary. And it was, when you kind of get yourself in a slump and everything all seems a bit overwhelming and so on, it's like, what I need to do is wash it all the way down the plug hole. So, I had a fantastic shower, and just, everything that was getting to me just went in that water, and then off down the plug hole it went.
It's very therapeutic, isn't it?
It is, yeah, definitely. So you can literally see it flowing away from you, and I think it's that whole visual thing and the sensation of it, and all good, definitely. So, right, what have we got here that I'm missing without a specs on? Hang on a moment. Diddly pom. Oh yes, that's your Pilates. I'm not quite sure whether it's Pilates or Pilates. I'm not quite sure.
They tend to say Pilates, but
Pilates.
I guess it's entirely up to you, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose it's the whole vitamin thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, and as Hans says, there's 3 trees. So in the middle of the farmer's field, which is normally given over to corn, and they're planting late this year because there's nothing. It's not been ploughed, nothing. It's still got half of last year's crop on it, also like lopped off at ankle height. But there's 3 huge oak trees in the middle. And it was nice actually to revisit them, because last year in the summertime we went trundling off over there and did drumming and did some magic and stuff over there. And it was quite nice to sort of revisit and, sort of check in with them and see, hey, how's it going, and that kind of stuff. And that was nice actually, just to get back over to the trees. A lot of water's gone under the bridge, so to speak, in that time since summertime last year. And it was just nice to go and reconnect with those trees, and in different circumstances. And it was nice. So the 3 trees too, they were nice. Where are we? What's that? Trips and waterfall. Chip. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, connecting with nature. Tony agrees. Yeah, definitely. It's one of those essential things everybody should do, not just us witches.
Well, exactly. And in some ways it's almost difficult not to, because the birds are so shouty at the moment.
Yeah, they are a bit, aren't they?
Someone's definitely turned the volume up. We've got everything. We've got the starlings, we've got the sparrows, we've got the blue tits, we've got the robins, we've got the ducks having a bit of a bun fight down on the stream. We've got the jackdaws nesting again. The crows, well, they've been making the most magnificent nests over at my garages.
Yeah,
settling in nicely.
Very nice. Actually, one of the things we saw yesterday was some geese, and this one particular one looked really peculiar. And there it was, sitting right in the middle of this field, just doing its own thing, minding its own business. And you sort of, without the specs on, I'm like, what is that?
Oh, one of those, is it?
Yeah, this is sort of triangular thing that appeared to have feathers, but I wasn't entirely sure.
Wasn't a plastic bag, was it?
No, it wasn't a plastic bag. No, I've been caught out
that before.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, definitely. In fact, there's various things I've written about that, actually, being caught out by plastic bags. I remember one occasion there was this beautiful white feather that was in the middle of my garden, and I stood admiring it at the window for ages and ages, and then decided, no, actually it's there, it's been dropped for me, it's it's definitely a message, it's this, it's that, and trundled out into the back garden. There it was sort of the corner of a plastic bag that was just poking up.
Not quite so brilliant.
No, and I've been admiring it for ages. Yeah, sort of
that's the joy of not having glasses on.
Exactly. Everything seems much nicer. Yeah. Less clear, but much nicer. Yeah. So anyway, it did turn out to be a duck, and it was just sort of sitting there, not a duck, a goose, and it was sort of sitting there, presumably preparing to nest. But also on the way back, what was quite nice was there was a lot of sheep's wool that had collected on wire fences and stuff, and that was quite nice. So I had a little bit of the sheep's wool so that I can use that for magical purposes, somewhere down the line. But obviously leaving it all there for the birds for their nests and stuff, and you sort of like you see the little birds come along and just like tweak little bits of the wool, don't they, and off they go and line their nests with it. It's all really lovely.
Make it all nice and cozy and warm.
Yeah, all snuggly for their littlies. So yeah, all good. But the biggest thing I've been doing this week is word magic.
Word
magic. Yeah, writing stuff, in other words. Yeah, lots and lots of writing. And it's been a sort of a necessary evil to an extent. But, there is magic in words. And of course, that there's a certain element of, even if it's a chore, there's a certain element of enjoying that chore because you can weave magic into the words that you choose. They don't call it spelling for nothing, do they?
Well, exactly.
So yeah, and I rather like that. I like the ability of being able to pick certain words because they either evoke something or they convey precisely what you want or precisely what somebody else wants, and that kind of stuff, and getting down exactly what you want to say in a manner that you want to say it, that clearly where there's no ambiguity and all that kind of stuff. And I actually quite like the challenge of that. So it's been full on, but it's also been let's say there is magic in words, and it's a useful exercise. You don't necessarily want to have to do it all the time. But I quite like writing, and I've got, as 14 books on the go, so yeah, I do like doing it. But it's when you have to do stuff. Yeah, it's when you have to do stuff rather than because you want to do stuff that the chore comes into it, isn't it? But yeah, but as I say, there's definitely a certain magic in words, and whether you're speaking to somebody, a bit of kindness goes a long way. Even things like that, it's all sorts of stuff, really, isn't it? And there's magic within, and I like it. So yeah, definitely. So what we've got going on here? Oh, Red Wing says, I've seen puss to a plastic bag. Whoops.
Did it respond?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, puss, oh dear. You look round hastily to see if anyone's noticed. I know.
Yeah, it's like, oh, did anybody see that?
Oh, yeah.
Loss of dignity moment. Yes.
I think I've left my dignity somewhere. I can't find it. I don't seem to have any left.
It's not that important, really. Truly, it isn't.
No, because when you're an idiot, it's just. Yeah. Yeah, no, I think I'm a bit lacking in that department, actually. But dignity wouldn't go amiss, really. But there we are. Don't seem to have any of that at all. Oh God. So yeah, so it's been an interesting kind of week. It's been an exhausting week. But there's been other stuff going on too, and what I'm going to be doing this evening is some preemptive healing magic for me. Indeed. So yeah. So if anyone wondering, I've got a surgical procedure happening tomorrow, and it's under general anaesthetic. And the last time I had general anaesthetic, I was very poorly. So there's a few issues brought up there. Because of that, and obviously it's it brings up memories, and it sort of makes you kind of consider other stuff, doesn't it? And it's not a big procedure, it's fairly inordinate, really, but it's nevertheless it's still that like, oh well, last time. And I have issues with anesthetic, so I should be doing some healing magic for me. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do yet. I've made some incense that's got all sorts of lovely, yummy stuff in it. Can't remember what's in it for the life of me. What's in it? What's in that incense? Can you remember?
Yeah, frankincense.
Frankincense and myrrh. There's a list.
A recipe.
Love good list. The blessed list. Right, bear with. It's like it will turn up. Where's the list? But it's got all sorts of things. I mean, you burn it. Oh my God, it smells amazing. And I've got these new charcoal things. You know, the old the normal
Discs.
circular. Oh,
Yeah.
bye, Jen. Bye, Jen. See you again soon.
Bye, Jane.
Keep well. Yeah, you know, oh, what was I saying? I've forgotten. Completely forgotten what I was talking
The
about.
new discs, new charcoal.
Oh yes, the new charcoal disc. So you know, normally you get the round ones, and they've got lots and lots of saltpetre in them, haven't they? So you sort of light it, and then it sort of goes sparkle, sparkle, sparkle. It lights the rest of it, but it smells blooming horrible.
It's acrid, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's really. Yeah. Once it's got itself going, it's fine, but it's that whole getting it going in the first place. And these things are made from bamboo, so it's bamboo charcoal, and they've not got the saltpeter stuff in to get them going or keep them burning or anything like that. So it means that they smell very, very much better, and they're much better for the environment. But they're absolute swines to get lit.
I was going to say that's why they have the saltpeter, is to get them going.
Yeah. So you have to have a certain amount of patience, has to be said. But you actually break them off a block like Kendal mint cake.
Oh, okay, that's different.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's the wrong colour for Kendal mint cake, I'd like to add. But
Thank goodness, because confusion there would be.
Well, I mean, that could be a horrible confusion, really, couldn't it? Can you imagine eating that by mistake? You don't know with black teeth.
Ugh.
Talking of which, I've got some charcoal toothpaste, which comes in powder form. And it wasn't until the first couple of times I used it, I had it used it in the bathroom with the light off.
Sorry.
And then
I don't know where this is going.
Yeah, well, I've got an electric toothbrush. It's one of those, like, you know, roundy things. I kept thinking, for the first couple of days, I thought I had black mold on the walls, but it turned out it was me.
Spraying it around.
Literally spraying everywhere with all these black stuff. And it's like, oh God, it's me. And of course, you end up with black teeth, which you then polish back up again. I'm so goth, even my toothpaste is black. There you go, see.
Hey.
But yeah, so I had all these black spots everywhere. So there's a certain technique to using this toothbrush,
Really?
this toothpaste with an electric toothbrush, which is namely, don't have it turned on if it's anywhere out of your mouth.
Yeah, keep your mouth shut whilst you're using.
Because it gets everywhere. So yeah, it works really quite efficiently, but it's hard work.
Yeah, all that cleaning up.
That and hair dye is just it's a bit of a no-hoper, really, isn't it?
Well, yeah, exactly. That's a problem in itself.
But it just took me a while to actually fall in as to what the problem was in the bathroom.
Why has that suddenly happened?
Oh God, yeah, it was all a bit, a bit of an eye opener, really. You don't want that in your eye, just saying. So yeah. Oh, here we go. So Hans says, yeah, there's some of it left for tomorrow, isn't there? Yeah. So we'll use that after, won't we? So the incense was frankincense, rosemary, mint, lavender, chamomile, and there was some other things in there. Myrrh, that was in there. And I can't remember what else was in it.
Cassia bark?
No. I don't think so.
Rose petals?
Rose petals? There was, it might have been actually. Wasn't there?
Oh, yeah.
There was something.
One from the little bud.
Was it? Yeah, it might well have been for a bit of self-love, I think.
Yeah, that's what I was
Because
thinking.
they were all very much, as usual, obviously every single ingredient was purposefully and purposely selected.
Absolutely. Oh, I can see why.
But so there was also, but it smells, it smells absolutely amazing, doesn't it? Yeah,
Wow.
I haven't got a huge amount of it left now, unfortunately. But I didn't put any oils in. So it's nice and loose and nice and easy to get going rather than it being a sticky, horrible mess, which is quite nice. Sometimes I like to put oils in and sometimes I don't. Depends how I'm going to be utilising it. But yeah, it's lovely. It smells really, really nice. And, it's hopefully it's very, very beneficial.
I'm sure
So,
it is.
so we'll get some of that going in a little bit. And that'd be good, wouldn't it, Hannah? Yeah, definitely. That's what it's for. Does what it says on the jar. Except we haven't written on the jar, but you know what I mean.
exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I shall be doing some tonight for you as well. I shall be doing my healing work.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm hoping, of course, that this, part of the healing thing that I'm wanting to do, not just for, anesthetics and all that kind of stuff, but also, of course, I'm hoping that, this one procedure will be the end of the problems that it's causing. So so hopefully it'll just be a sort of a one-off. Yes, off you pop. We don't need to see you anymore. It's all sorted. So that's what I'm kind of going for. So yeah. So yeah, it gets a bit tedious otherwise, doesn't it? So enough already.
Yeah. So it's the afternoon, isn't it, tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow afternoon. I've got to be there 12:15. But I think I'm the first in. I think I'm the first in the queue. I think that's what the lady said to me on the phone. Mind you, she might say that to everybody just to get everyone in. I don't know. Who knows? It might be a policy, and a ploy. Might be a cunning ploy.
And are you coming back the same day or staying over?
Yeah, no, I'm coming back the same day. So it could be any time up until 10 o'clock in the evening, it said.
Yeah,
because I suppose that's
always difficult to get discharged. That's the thing, getting out.
It is, but I suppose that then covers those people that go down at 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So I'll probably be let out about tea time. So they'll have had enough of me by then.
You'll make sure they have.
Yeah. Let me go. So yeah. But yeah, so I'm really, really hoping that that'll be the end of that. So yeah, got an anaesthetic to hold you safe and protected. Did you say that was Anubis? Anubis. So he can stand there with his ears. What was that? Pardon? Hey.
Yeah, I've got an Anubis statue here, so I should do some work with him.
Yeah, I have. Unfortunately, I decapitated it, so I don't think I'm probably in his favour.
Mine has got half an ear, sadly.
Yours has got half an ear, and I managed to decapitate mine.
Yeah, I need to re-glue that.
Yeah. When I went through that phase when I moved here, I broke everything. I think that was one of my casualties. I think.
Oh dear.
I was like, oh no. That's not going to put anybody in there in my good books, was it? So yeah. So I was awaiting glue, and then you know what it's like. You break, well, you might not, but you break loads and loads of things. So you kind of line everything all up, and then some things sort of fall off the conveyor belt, so to speak. So you finally get hold of some glue, and you don't necessarily remember all the things that you've demolished.
Yeah, glue, household essential.
Yeah, it is really, isn't it? Well, it is if you're like me. So yeah. Clumsy to the max. So so that is something that I need to rectify. Really, that's not ideal, is it? Especially if you're having anaesthetic. Headless good. Headless good job. Several ears and heads. Well, that's just showing off. Anubis is with ears and heads. Wow, I don't know.
Well, in my defence, it wasn't me that took his ear off. It was somebody.
But it wasn't self-inflicted either, was it? No.
No.
Oh dear. Yeah, Hoovers have a lot to answer for, don't they?
Yeah, we had a brief skirmish with the cleaning lady at one point. Decided it might be an idea, but unfortunately my house actually does need cleaning, so they couldn't just flick a duster. Yeah. However, she was remarkably clumsy, which is really unfortunate. So
it is really unfortunate if you're in the process of trying to move other people's stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's not ideal at all. No, yeah. Oh dear. Either that or it was she was on a secret mission and she had different deities going on.
Quite possibly.
Who knows? See, I have to take it all with a pinch of salt, don't you?
Exactly. Gosh.
So apart from helping me out magically tomorrow, and apart from helping out your friends with healing, which seems to be your
tomorrow is definitely a day.
Yeah, seems to definitely be your remit at the moment. Have you got anything else magically lined up that you've got planned, or
not particularly? Like I say, it's really full on with the healing at the moment, and that's kind of where that's kind of enough to be dealing with. I'm just trying to make sure I'm not neglecting other friends in the process. It's kind of like, oh, I haven't spoken to so-and-so, so I'm sort of firing off texts going, I haven't abandoned you. Things are a bit interesting.
Yeah,
trying to catch up with people. But yes, one of my friends is well on the mend, which is good, but I also would like to spend some time with her. And another one I haven't spoken to for a couple of weeks. I do need to find out how she's doing. But yeah, I'm not really a creature of routine by any means, but when you don't know exactly what you're doing, even sort of remotely, it's very difficult to plan ahead.
It is difficult, isn't it? Yeah. One thing that I was a bit miffed about last week was a missed opportunity, if you like, because obviously we had the dark moon last week, didn't we? I think it was Friday morning, early hours of early hours. I said first thing in the morning on Friday, and it was just one of those things that, due to circumstances, it was unavoidable, and it was how it was. But because of circumstances, wasn't able to do anything. Because partly I wasn't in, I had other commitments that I was doing, and so on and so forth. And it was a bit of a shame, it was sort of, sort of supermoon in Aries and all that kind of stuff. And it was a bit of a shame, really, because, it would have been quite a beneficial energy to have used. But, you can't win them all. You can't live your life around all of that, because obviously, as you say, other commitments and other stuff get in the way. And that's the entire point I'm making, that, in an ideal world, everything goes your way, and you can plan your own life down to the finite points, but other stuff comes up, doesn't it? Sort of other family commitments, or you might sort of think, I'm going to do this, and it rains, and then that puts the mockers on it. Or you're sort of going to go to, I don't know, some kind of event, and then illness happens, or train strikes, or whatever it is. There's always a possibility of other stuff coming up, and you can't be too anal about it, really, can you? You've just got to go.
You just have to roll with it, and I just think, well, whatever happens, things often settle down in time. They will change in time. You go through busy periods, and it's very difficult to sustain that for any length of time. And I kind of know, I'm going to need a bit more quieter time, and I'll be getting away to the odd thing, which will really help. But I just realised that this summer in particular, is going to be very busy, because the two previous summers, the things that should have happened didn't. So it's like everything's trying to be shoehorned in, and there are still only a certain number of weekends. In the summer.
Exactly. It's like infinite invitations and infinite possibilities and finite numbers of being able to do.
Trying to have a go at everything and make sure you get a bit of a chance. But things like, for example, we have our drumming occasions. Get 4 dates. I can only do one. One is a wedding. Another 2 I'm out of the country for. And the other one is. It's just that way of it. It's
how it goes, isn't it? Yeah, exactly.
And we're going to be busy because we
sort of plan your life around one thing, but then that doesn't take into account other stuff. And you sort of well, something always has to give, doesn't it? And it's not always your priorities that you're able to deal with either. Sometimes it's other stuff that might not be a personal priority for you, but it's a priority for someone or something else. And it's so you just have to
Exactly.
Stations go and get on with it and just suck it up, really, don't you? And that's how it is. But
it's trying to keep a bit of balance in amongst all doing what you can and accepting that is all you can do. There's no point in stretching yourself so thin that you snap, because that's what happens. I've done that in the past and got so close to feeling absolutely out of just spinning. And you just kind of have to go, now, hang on a minute. I know this is not a good place to be. I need to just simplify things a little bit.
Don't you?
Yeah.
And of course, you can't physically be in the same place, 2 or 3 or 4 places at the same time. It's just not.
Sadly, I haven't perfected that one. God.
No, 2 places at the same time, perhaps, but not necessarily more than 2. No.
Okay.
It's work in progress.
You can expand time enough to get round to things, but nonetheless, it's still very, when you're constantly doing that in order to fit things in, it can be a bit frustrating. It's not necessarily good for you to do all that sort of thing.
No. I'll tell you what, though, with the invention, with the event of modern technology, actually, to an extent, you can be in several places at the same time. Because actually, you can be, at home, and then you can be, sort of a meeting that's taking place in wherever for work, or then speaking to somebody else that's
Zoom.
in,
Yeah.
like now. Obviously, we were chatting with Jen before, and she's over in America, and so on and so on. So, you kind of can.
Yeah, you can.
Tenuous
You
link, I
can
know, but
do
you
that.
kind of can.
Yeah, yeah. There are ways and means, but there are still limitations to what you can physically do.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
thank
missed my
goodness
moot on Tuesday, actually. So, not allowed out of the house. So I'm on, pre-surgery isolation. So it should have been my moot on Tuesday. And again, that was a bit of a shame. But, it's a needs must. And ideally, yes, I'd have gone and done my moot on Tuesday. But it just wasn't possible. If you're told you've got to stay and you can't go out, well, you've got to do as you're told, unfortunately.
Well, and you need that, you need that procedure to go ahead. So there's nothing, it's not worth jeopardising it.
Exactly. Yeah. So, so again, that was the thing. And there was a discussion regarding the possibilities of having an online moot, which I did over lockdown, as you remember.
Yes.
And they work quite well. But again, time got the better of us, and it was, other stuff was more pressing. And it's like, well, no, something has to give. I'd said I wasn't going to do it. So, sometimes you just have to accept it. And it's like, well, pick up next time. So, yeah. So it'll be a super duper moot in May, just after Beltane. So that'll be fun.
Oh, that'll be a goodie.
Yeah, that'll be a good fun one. So I always rather like Beltane. We talked about Beltane a little bit last week. And
we did.
We did. So that'll be quite nice. So, I won't have had a moot for a couple of months because of illness and stuff, which is, it goes. But yeah, sort of picking up at Beltane. Well, what nicer place to pick up again with, it's
Exactly.
a nice way to do it. So yeah, and we're hoping to do some staffs. So friends of mine that comes to the moot, she's got lots of nice long trunks, sort of thin, slender trunks that she's paired off. I think it's an ash tree. I think it's an ash tree. So they're rather nice for sort of decoration, and and it's a nice thing to do with other people around, and sort of discussing what you're doing and what. Oh, we've got a bird. Hello. Sort of discussing what you're doing, why you're doing it, why you're going to add something, why you're going to paint something, why you're going to put a charm on or make notches or strip the bark. All of that stuff, all adds to the energy of it all. We have Bert off, not lift off, Bert off.
Oh.
There he is.
Hello, Bertie. Oh, look at that
face. Oh, he loves me.
Oh, he's gorgeous.
Lovely. He's purring, actually.
Of course he is.
It's remarkable.
Isn't he? Lovely cat.
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh, yes.
Ooh.
Into the eyes.
Oh, look into the eyes. Look into the eyes. Not around the eyes, into the eyes. Yeah.
He's putting up with it as well. He's not struggling.
No, normally he's wriggling and struggling at this point.
He's looking almost relaxed. Well, maybe not quite.
He's quite floppy. He does seem to have his ears on at odd angle. I don't know though.
I'm not sure if that's enjoyment.
I can't even look at you.
No, too much.
No, I can't even look at you. There's probably something wrong with his dish. Who knows?
It'll be empty.
Or it will have a couple of chunks missing out of it, which is the same thing.
Well, yes, of course.
Yeah, because you put a full pouch down and 2 or 3 chunks come out of it, and then it's empty again, isn't it? Clearly.
It needs replenishing.
Yeah. One of the things that I find quite irritating is when I go away for a day or two. Obviously, I leave various, food down for them, but they seem to have this thing of gorging themselves, and they're like, oh yeah, lovely, loads and loads and loads of food, and they sort of pick the nice bits out, and then I sort of come back to big piles of nastiness. It's horrid.
Oh
yes, it's a bit of a bomb site actually. You sort of come home and sort of pick your way over what's been deposited. It's not
dirty protest.
Yeah, I think it is actually. It's like, oh, you went out and you left me. It's all, there seems to be gin happening. Hooray!
Oh, yes, please.
Oh, raspberry gin. I think that's the last of my raspberry gin too. It was all very sad.
You're going to have to make some more.
Yeah, I will. Obviously, the raspberries are only just coming back up again. I've got the canes just starting up again, but yeah, it's going to be a bit of a wait.
There's always frozen raspberries.
That's true. It's not the same when they're. Thank you. It's not the
I
same
know,
as
but
when they're out
yeah.
of the garden and nicely warmed. That's obviously a different thing altogether. But yes. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
You're not having red wine delivered by a large man today?
By a large one, because you only ever see him from the chest down, and it's really funny.
All you can ever see is a waist down. Waist down and knees up. Just,
There you go. Yeah, no, not
what
today.
was that? What was that?
Airplane.
It was something like airplane. That's right.
Or
Police
Police
Squad. There was a
Academy,
really
or one
cool
of those
chap
where they had the big guy.
That's-
You never saw his face.
What was his name? Hightower.
Probably.
Yeah, something like that. You never got to see him, but you just sort of heard this disembodied voice with a pair of trousers, didn't you?
Yeah, a little bit like that.
Well, in your case, you hear a disembodied voice with a pair of trousers and a glass of wine. It's marvellous.
Oh, yes, please.
And it's supplied forthwith. Perfect.
Indeed. Perfect.
Oh, yes.
Sadly, not today.
Not today. No.
Taking his eye off the ball.
Definitely. We'll have to put a complaint into the man.
Yes, thank you, Hans.
What's that? What have you written? What have you written? What have you written? What have you written? New beginnings on the supermoon. Bird's eye moon. Well, no, bird's eyes. Yes, yes. And his crutch. Oh, yes, lovely. Well, yes, you do get to see that too. Delicately covered with a glass of wine. Yes. Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So obviously going back to the moon. Obviously we missed the new moon this time round. But it's still a good time for doing stuff of new beginnings, even if it's not, the optimal time. It's still a good time for new beginnings.
Well, it's things that need energy putting into them.
Yeah,
it's
it
a
is,
growth
isn't it?
period, so anything like that is doable. It doesn't have to be right bang on the.
No, exactly. And I like to work as closely with the moon and its timings as possible. But it's not. As I said, it's not always possible. So, that's something else. And I think I might, as I say, I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do magically about tomorrow for me. But I think actually I might utilise the fact that it is. Obviously it's the waxing moon and so on, and that's it's a good time for bringing in old healing energy or new healing energy even. So that's quite a good thing. So it's bringing anything in, really, isn't it?
Yeah, you can sort of bring in physical strength because that will help you.
Yeah.
You're looking at bringing in enhanced energy and quick recovery, which is very much a waxing moon thing, is quick healing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and sort of bringing sort of a new chapter of life because something's been dealt with. That's what I'm kind of going to go for.
Because you'll be free of
leave that all behind. So so that'd be quite nice. So that's what I'm going for, because obviously what I don't want is for them to realise that they need to do other stuff as a result of it. That's my worry. Actually, that's my worry, that they're going to go, well, actually we've done that, but now we need to do this. Because that's usually how things have gone in the past. So I kind of want to break that cycle, really, of of that whole, well, we've done this and now we found that. That's what I'm wanting to break and stuff, and that's what I want a whole new start from, actually. So I think I'll it's quite nice sometimes just talking something through, just clarifies in your mind what it is you're wanting, doesn't it?
Yeah, so you're saying, okay, this is a one-time thing, this is it done, and there's no continuing story.
Exactly, because it's been a continuing story up to this point, and it's like, just something new, sort of variation on a theme. And it's like, okay, I'm fed up with this theme now. I'd like to quite close that chapter.
Draw a line under it.
Yeah, exactly. So so I think we'll go with that. If that's all right with you, please, Anna?
Yeah.
Good. Yes, Hannah on board. Perfect. Yeah, I think we'll go with that. Yeah. Well, on that thought, I'm going to suggest we end our chat simply because starting a new topic probably isn't going to take us anywhere or very far. So,
No, we've got a big day tomorrow, so you need
yeah,
to.
the big day tomorrow. Yes, exactly. So, yeah, so we're going to say toodle pip and cheerio. So, Hannah, if you're prepared, Heather, if you're prepared to do this lovely big wave for everybody, that would be perfect. Ready? Off you go.
Here we go now.
Oh,
Ooh,
yes,
puzzle.
perfect. All good way. Cheerio, everybody. Toodle pip. See you soon.